You're listening to Amazing Life Podcast, the best podcast in the world. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. It's always an honor and a pleasure to come to your homes, and we appreciate each one of you. I just want to pause for a minute and say, with the lockdown being eased and some normality coming into our day, it looks as if we've gone back to being busy again. We're busy at work, busy at home, even busy now that we've got a hangout Zoom. We're busy filling the day with meetings every second. We seem to be busier than ever before because we seem to think we've got to make up the Lord's ground or the Lord's times. But I just need you to pause for a minute and just to say, Father, we thank you. We just want to pause and say, Father, we love you. So in Psalm 16 verses 8 and 9, it says, I have set the Lord always before me, because he's at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my glory rejoices. My heart will also rest in hope. Hey, whatever the anxieties or the things that haven't been done, we just need to trust the Lord and just hand it all over unto him and to say, Father, you know what? You are in charge and I trust you to do it for me, because it says my flesh will also rest in hope, and I live in hope that Christ is our deliverer. So if you're listening to this SoundCloud and you're enjoying what you're hearing, just share it. And if you're on YouTube, just Lillian Akon, Amazing Life Podcast. On Instagram, it's Amazing Life Podcast. On Twitter, at Live Akon. Do whatever that you can to get in touch, because we love your company. We love you to share, and we want people to be listening to this podcast. So whatever you do, don't go anywhere. Sit tight, because it's going to be a wonderful session. Stay tuned.
There's a light in my life shining over me. There's a light in my life shining over me. Yeah. Let your blessings from above fill me with that precious love. There's a light in my life shining over me. Lord, sometimes I sit and I wonder why strange things happen to me. Then again I feel my friends are gone, yeah. But if I put my trust in Jesus, my burdens will lighten. Don't you see there's a light in my life shining over me? Lord, walk with me, talk with me. Please stay close by my side. Be my shelter, be my comfort, be my guide. I was blind, but now I see. Jesus, he came and he rescued me. There's a light in my life shining over me. There's a light in my life shining over me. There's a light in my life shining over me. Yeah. Let your blessings from above fill me with that precious love. There's a light in my life shining over me.
The song you just listened to was Liz Vice, There's a Light. I just love the sound of her voice. So we're going to be listening to more of her songs on this episode. And also Lauren Daigle, all easy songs, for your ears. Again, if you enjoy what you're listening to, make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube and share with your friends. This next section we have is the Word for the Week by Reverend Cassandra Hall. Yeah, you heard me. Reverend Cassandra Hall is in the house, and she's going to give us the word for the week. I won't tell you the title so you can listen to it. That will be followed by our lovely lady Donna, where we look at the review of the week and discuss and dissect whatever is going on in the world that you may have just missed or you would have wished to talk about, but we'll do that on your behalf. That will be followed by a lovely, lovely song by Lauren Daigle, Rolling Stone.
This is your word for the week. Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 11 reads, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill, but time and chance happen to them all. Time and chance are the common denominators shared by all men. We often say time waits for no man. Time is running out on us. Time is going by quickly. Is time really running out on us? Or is it an excuse for our unwise or inappropriate use of time? Is time really going by quickly? Are there still not 24 hours in a day? The question we should ask ourselves is, how prepared am I for time? When time comes around and knocks at our doors, time often finds us still getting dressed, still trying to put things in order, still trying to figure things out instead of being ready. And time, who is more disciplined than us and of a truth waits for no man, moves along without us. The truth of the matter is, many are unprepared for time. Many do not use the time that God has allocated to them wisely. Many do not use time allocated to fulfill godly and timely expectations. Each day that God gives us the breath of life, or grants us the gift of life, it is a time and a chance given to fulfill our godly assignments or godly mandates. It is a time and a chance given to make things right with God. It is a time and a chance given to make things right with others. That family member, that work colleague, that boss, that brother or sister in church. It is a time and a chance given to mend that broken relationship. It is a time and a chance given to make positive, godly changes and to prepare for time itself. We have got so much time on our hands, but many are unwilling to use the time God allocated for the purpose for which it is intended. I encourage you today, prepare yourself for time. Use your time wisely. There's a time for everything, and God expects us to fulfill whatever He desires of us in that expected time. God richly bless you.
So, Lady Donna, it is always good to have you on. News this week, I will go first, is face mask. So, face mask in public spaces is compulsory. If you don't do that, you have £100 fine. I forgot to mention that before the recording. So £100 fine, 24/7 in England after the initial skepticism. Now, I don't know whether it's because they are following the scientists' advice, but now face covering is mandatory 24th of July onwards. It's mandatory in shops, banks, trains, airports, and takeaway restaurants. But it's not mandatory if you're eating in restaurants, pubs, gyms, leisure centres, cinemas, and theatre. Scotland already have this as a compulsion in the shops, but it's not compulsory in Wales. Northern Ireland will run a campaign sometime in August to advise people to wear face masks. Remember, I think 2 weeks ago you mentioned that Boris Johnson will bring this into play, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 2 weeks ago when we spoke, there was speculation that the Prime Minister might be putting forward this measure to make it mandatory in enclosed spaces. So, it has come to pass. That was as of yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah. Yesterday, as of yesterday, it became mandatory to wear face coverings, we must say, not just a mask. So face covering in shops, like you mentioned, and all those other places. Yeah. And today, actually, I went into the shop, I had my face covering on, and I noticed that staff from the shop were outside in some shops anyway, they were outside checking that people had their masks.
Oh, right.
Yes, but only in some shops, and they've made it clear that they would not be enforcing it. So the enforcement is down to police. It's not down to the shop staff.
And the police are saying that they should be the last resort. If someone is not wearing a face mask, you employ them, but do not call us because we are stretched too thin. Don't come bargain us about the face covering somebody's not wearing it. I must admit, went to the shops and mostly people had it on, but I can only say loads of men did not have the face covering on. Hey, not being sexist here, but the people that I didn't see wearing the face mask mostly were the men, and then the younger people didn't have the face mask.
But was this before? Was this before?
No, this was yesterday. This was yesterday. This was yesterday. Yeah.
Could it be that maybe it was the first day? That's why, because when I went to the shops today, it was a different picture. Right. A lot of people actually. In fact, I didn't see anyone without it. Oh, the shops I went to. So they've
gotten onto it then. So everybody's following the rules, which is good. But the only downside to this is, with all these face masks and wearing gloves has led to pollution of plastics. So environmentalists are also pleading with us to make sure we dispose of them correctly or reuse them rather than having it as a one-time use. Because they're all landing into the sea. Because in the UK, for example, only 9% of items are recycled. 60% are sold to other countries and the rest are put into landfill. And the leftovers are burnt into the open air. So if these plastic are being sent to Africa, eventually some of them will be burnt in the open air, which then leads into climate crisis that we're trying to avoid in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. I'll move on quickly to the EU talks. EU trade talks are at a standstill at the moment. The sticking point is the EU fishing boats want access to UK waters. That's to do with fairer competition laws. The Europeans are saying if we're going to limit the European Court of Justice activities in the UK, we're going to have a level playing field and we're going to have no tariffs across each borders. But if you want all these to happen, then we need access into your UK waters, which is at the moment the talks people are from our side don't want to give away. And we hope things will progress eventually, because the Prime Minister is saying he doesn't want the trade talks to go beyond the end of this year.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that? So no tariffs across the borders, and therefore we should have the UK need to also sign up for environmental standards, workers' rights, which is all easy we can do, and subsidies. Don't know if UK will be paying subsidies, but there you are. So that's to do with the EU trade talks. But another pointer regarding EU is the EU have after the EU summit, they've agreed 750 billion euro recovery package to help the countries that were hit by coronavirus. But the EU Parliament, that's about money. That's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, 700 billion euros. But the EU Parliament promises to block this package because they think it doesn't go far enough in terms of R&D and in terms of science and in terms of looking after the interests of the current generation. So we wait to see what happens here. Do you want to come in with anything before I move to outside the country, Lebanon, and talk about what is happening there?
No, we can finish with that.
Okay, we can finish with that. Okay, so with Lebanon, they need money urgently. They need money from IMF, but the IMF are also saying they can only give them money if corruption stops in the country. So a former colony of France, a finance minister, visited Lebanon this week, but he's saying that we can only help you if you stop enriching yourselves with the monies that you've got and stop corruption in the country, because there's loads of unemployment. People have lost their jobs, shops are closing, they are at the brink of bankruptcy. And we hope the leaders in Lebanon will wake up, save the country, make changes, and get the money needed from IMF to save them from all these crises. And lastly for me, before you come in, Lady Donna, the EU are doing their best to tackle online child abuse, and critics have raised their voices to say online abuse has been there for years and years. Why are you now raising it up again? But then it's been brought to the attention that activities online have increased due to COVID-19, people staying indoors. So the EU are doing their best to create new European centres, setting up prevention networks, and having a strong legal framework to work together to clamp down on these online people that abuse children. Yeah, so that's me. All done. Chop chop. What about you?
Okay, so this week, Lady Lillian, I want to focus on our Prime Minister's experience with COVID.
Yes. And
how that has led to a change of heart, of stance, and even politics. I want to mention a number of things that previously maybe we wouldn't have expected of Boris, but given his near-death brush with COVID,
yes,
we see that he's making these changes.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is the NHS surcharge for migrant health workers.
Okay.
This is a fee that migrant workers in this country have to pay to use the NHS if need be.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, obviously, it was highlighted that these migrant workers who work in the NHS, it's not fair that they pay.
They pay
this fee when they are putting their lives at risk to help everyone in the country.
Yes, you're right.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah. And then obviously we know that with Boris's stay in ICU and the fact that he mentioned 2 foreign workers who were there and mentioned them who saved his life, quote, it appears that brought about a change of heart. So there was a bit of going backwards and forwards between the two parties, the Tories and Labour. But then in the end, the Prime Minister made a U-turn, and now they have scrapped the NHS surcharge fee for migrant health workers.
Excellent.
So that was one U-turn, and I think that links in with his experience with COVID. So that's number one. Yes. And then again, during the pandemic, it's been highlighted. It's very clear for everyone to see that we need foreign health workers and care workers, because we just don't have enough people in England or British people to take up these roles.
Yeah.
So it has become very clear that these are people who are needed for the NHS. And as a result of that, the government has launched a new health and care visa to ensure that they get access to people from migrant workers from other countries who want to come here and work for the NHS.
Wow.
So the launch is a fast-track visa system which launches this summer actually to recruit health and care workers from all over the world who want to be able to come and help work in the NHS to help us here.
So this one is sort of like toning down on preventing people from coming into the country to work, because I do remember when Priti Patel took over, they didn't want to cower to what the ideas that England was a soft place for people to come in to work, and so they were very strong on making sure the migrant workers, you need to have certain points before you get in and work. So now if they're getting people to come in as a fast track, so that is good. Not also forgetting that the Windrush generation, there was a section of them that the UK government went to Jamaica to ask the healthcare workers to come into this country. But then all of a sudden, when they're staying in the country, they couldn't get permission to have citizenship. Anyway, that's another matter. But I'm glad that they have turned it down a bit, and then people can come into this country and work to help the citizens of this country. That's a good thing.
And this is what I was saying about his change of heart and stance, and even in his politics, because he took a very strong or hard line with Brexit, and then the whole campaign about getting our numbers down, getting immigration numbers down, taking control of our country. And then lo and behold, come March, COVID comes, and then everyone realizes that actually we do need foreign workers.
Yeah.
And the two people who saved his life were foreign workers.
Yeah.
So his personal experience with the disease has really changed his heart and his stance on certain things. Yeah. So I'm glad that at least they recognize this and have put in place this visa for health and care workers from all over the world who can come and help us here with the NHS, because as we know, they don't have enough staff in the NHS, and we always have a problem where they're overwhelmed. Well, with winter coming, and who knows, God help us, but who knows, they're predicting that there might be a second wave of this virus. God help us. But then if that happens with the normal flu season, that's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. So that's why they've launched this scheme already this summer, and to recruit more people to the NHS.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then another thing, again, that I want to talk about is the making of face coverings mandatory in shops. Again, something that he wouldn't normally do, because Boris Johnson in the past has said that he's against this nanny state, the whole idea of policing people, and that you should leave people to their goodwill to make their own decisions about whether they want to wear a face covering or not. But it has come to the point where, because they've been able to get the virus has come down, because the numbers have come down. The thing is that if you can do something to prevent another spike, then why not?
Why not?
So even though previously he may not have felt that way, he has changed his stance on it, and as a result, as of yesterday, face coverings have been made mandatory in shops and other places. So another change there. And then the final thing I want to talk about, again, based on his personal experience, is the new Better Health campaign that the Prime Minister has launched, and he's put £10 million into it. Into the campaign.
That's of money there.
Yeah, £10 million into it to cut obesity in England. And they say that obesity is the single most important modifiable factor in fighting COVID. And the Prime Minister personally believes that were he to have been a person or healthier at the time he contracted COVID and not obese, because he was apparently 17.5 stone then before he had it, he might not have suffered.
He might not have been. Yeah. Oh.
Exactly.
So I need to be losing weight too then.
We all need to do our bit.
You don't need to lose weight, Lady Donna. If we see you,
I still need to keep fit, Lillian.
You still need to keep fit. I need to keep fit and lose the weight.
Again, as a direct result of his experience with the virus, he's launched this campaign, and then it comes with a number of things. That the Better Health campaign includes the cutting of obesity rate, but also he's put in there a junk food ad ban on junk food before the 9 p.m. watershed. So that's something that he feels that it will help. I know that some people have come out and said, oh, it's not going to change anything.
It's not going to change anything.
There is always a group of people that things like that would help, because if you don't see it, you don't desire it.
But then those are a medical practitioner on the TV today saying, for example, the supermarkets can also help, because you go into the checkpoint and then you are met with these chocolates and stuff like reduced prices. So you've avoided them in the shops, but you cannot get rid of them at the checkpoint or the checkout point, because they're there displayed to get your attention. So that's another thing that
shops have done that though. I think Tesco has done that. So now, when you go to self-service, you only see like gum and healthy snacks, like fruit snacks and things like that. So I think I've noticed that in some shops that they've got rid of the chocolate and they've put their water and healthy stuff. So I think
the shops are doing that. Oh, well done to everybody then. Well done to the shops, well done to the PM, and well done to you, Lady Donna, for picking those up. But before we end this one, anything sports that you want to talk about? Because I know cricket was played on Friday. I think that's between England and West Indies. Those of you cricket fans, you can sit and brace it and enjoy it. Anything from the Formula 1 circuit?
So at the moment they've got a break this week, and then they're back at Silverstone next week. Yeah.
Are you going?
Oh, well, no fans allowed. So it's a shame. It's a shame, really, because the last time I went to Silverstone, it was such a great experience.
Wow.
That I would have loved to do. But yeah, no fans. But at least we still get the racing, which is great. I won't complain.
You know what? You are a good sports ambassador because you like the Formula One, and you buy the ticket and you go to Silverstone. I like football and I haven't been to an England game before. That is so bad. I mean, an English Premiership game, because I've watched Barnet play, so at least it's something. But at least I need to go a bit higher and attend.
So which team do you support then?
Oh, Lady Donna, I keep telling you, it's Arsenal. But I don't say it too loud because they do well when you don't expect them, because they whipped Man City and Liverpool, but then if you give them Brighton, they might be faltering. So yes. That is that too.
It's really painful being an Arsenal supporter.
Hey, don't mention it. Don't mention it. Don't let me cut you off before I lose the audience for talking about Arsenal. Lady Donna, it's a pleasure to have you on this week. Thank you so much for paying attention, for picking out the little bits that we haven't joined the dots to, and talking about the PM's U-turn on items such as to do with our health and also to do with migrant workers because of his experience with COVID. So, madam, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have your face covering on the buses wherever you go, so that they don't throw you out. Yeah. Lady Donna, thank you.
Thank you, Lillian. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, madam.
Out of the shadows, bound for the gallows, a dead man walking, till love came calling. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. 6 feet under, I thought it was over, and answered a prayer, the voice of a savior. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. All at once I came alive, this beating heart, these open eyes, the grave let go, the darkness should have known. You're still rolling stone. You're still rolling stone. Now that you saved me, I sing 'cause you gave me a song of revival. I put it on vinyl. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. I once was blinded, but now I see it. I heard about the power, and now I believe it. Oh, rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. All at once I came alive, this beating heart, these open eyes, the grave let go, the darkness should have known. You're still rolling stone. You're still rolling stone. I thought that I was too far gone for everything I've done wrong. Yeah, I'm the one who dug this grave, but you called my name. You called my name. I thought that I was too far gone for everything I've done wrong. Yeah, I'm the one who dug this grave, but you called my name. You called my name. All at once I came alive, this beating heart, these open eyes, the grave let go, the darkness should have known.
That was Rolling Stones by Lauren Daigle, and I hope you loved it. Now, this is a special song on my heart, and I hope you love it. It's called When I Remember What the Lord Has Done, and it was sung by Ntokozo Umbambo. I hope you love this song, because regardless of all that is happening around us, as I said in my intro, we need to pause and know that the Lord has got it. The Lord has got everything under his control. And so when we remember what the Lord has done, we will never ever go back. Stay tuned.
When I remember what the Lord has done, I will never go back anymore. When I remember what the Lord has done, I will never go back. Looking back over my life, and I see how far God's brought me, so I'll never go back anymore. I've been discouraged along the way, but he's been faithful, so I'll never go back anymore.
We've come to the end of this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it to the full. If you enjoyed it and you're on YouTube, just give us the thumbs up and share the link with friends so that they can hear the good news of God and hear relaxing music. And also, if you're on Instagram, it's Amazing Life Podcast, and it's on Twitter, it's at Live Icon. So do whatever you can. Let friends know that you're listening to good stuff here so that we can be encouraged by it. So I end this with number 6, which says, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. So we end this episode with 2 lovely songs. It's Empty Me Out by Liz Vise and Satisfy by Rivers and Robots. Whatever you do, remember, God has got it under control. Love you and hope to see you again next week. God bless. Bye.
Lord, there is
fullness of joy at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. In your presence there is fullness of joy at your right hand are pleasures forevermore. In your presence there is fullness of